Thank you so much for turning up. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being part of this group. It's lovely to be able to have access to so many women that honour their intuition enough to take time out to investigate and explore it. So I'm Paula Adams. I'm still very nervous. I've got my notes here just so that I don't miss out anything. I've been helping women and their relationship to their intuition for 15 years now, and if there's one thing that I do know deep down, really truly know, is that you do have intuition and you can listen to it and you can live your life from that place. But there are ways and means of doing it that are easier than other ways. So I'm going to ground and come out of my head and into my heart and connect with you from there. And I want to reiterate, as I said 2 weeks ago, there are no right or wrongs. There's no wrong way to intuit. Whatever you intuit is information. That's all. Just information. So let it be playful. Play with this part of you. So what are we really saying when we say, oh, I don't know, but deep down inside we do? I'm sure a lot of you will know this, but it's actually that we're afraid of rocking the boat. We're afraid that if we listen to our intuition fully, we're going to have to make huge life changes. And that's going to bring up a hell of a lot of emotions and fears. And maybe I have to leave my husband, or maybe I have to leave my job if I listen to my intuition. Maybe we actually have to acknowledge how unhappy we are. If that part of us is saying, I'm not happy, and we listen to it, then we finally acknowledge, and that's really hard, because we're creatures of habit. We don't want change. And a lot of us come from our heads. We use our heads an awful lot. This is a society that respects the head rather than the heart, and our intuition is coming from our heart. We could think that our heads know better than our intuition. Well, in actual fact, having both, being inclusive, is actually the way forward. So there's no judgment here. Whatever reason you're not listening to, or you do hear your intuition but you choose not to act on it, that's just what's here. No judgment at all. You're giving space for what's here. And this is the general advice throughout this whole Facebook Live. It's just honouring what's here now, present. And to go with it, I really want to share this story, because to go with this, that you don't have to rock the boat, that it's just information that your intuition is giving you. I have a client, we were speaking today, and she was saying, it's been a year, Paula, and this time last year, she's with a controlling husband. And she said, this time last year, do you remember we had that scenario? And I said yes, and she said, and this year it's totally different. I don't want to do Christmas the way we traditionally do it. I want to do it differently. And this year I've listened to my intuition, and I've had enough sense of myself to be able to request it. And she's gone right ahead, and she's going to have the Christmas that she's wanted, because she trusts herself now. And it's really, truly beautiful. And she made the decision to stay in the relationship. She knew the controlling behaviour, but she's in a place now that it's allowed her husband to also shift and change, which is fantastic. So the whole marriage is different, her whole family life is different, and we celebrated today just how extraordinary, wonderful the position that she finds herself in now. So I just wanted to share that, you know, when you do listen to your intuition, it doesn't mean that you have to sever ties. And I also want you to know that as an adult, your basic rights are to ask for what you want, to share your feelings, to honour what comes back, but just to have this assurance and confidence that your needs are actually are worth meeting. But so often we find ourselves not speaking out, so not saying that we're unhappy, we're not expressing ourselves, we're not sharing our intuition, and there's no shame here. That's just, you know, that's just where we find ourselves right now. And so there's one thing well, there's several things that we can change this. The first thing is to admit it. So for us to come out of denial and to actually admit our fear to ourselves and to a trusted dear friend, to admit, you know, okay, maybe I'm in a controlling relationship and I want out, and that you know, but if I mention that to my partner, then they might abandon me or reject me, or I could get a lot of abuse back. So it's just naming this, not having to do anything about it, just naming it, I call it putting it on the table, putting your fear on the table, so it's not this anxiety running in the background. And as soon as we do this, as soon as we place this fear, whatever it is, whatever fear we have, as soon as we place it on the table, things have space to shift. So we're back here to this space, this spaciousness, this ability to then see the bigger picture. And so we admit our fear, and a shift can happen. And then I'm just grounding and coming back into my heart again. Because talking about fear, obviously, you know, there's a lot here. There's a lot going on. So with this listening to our intuition as a way of gaining information takes away the emotional aspect of, oh my God, I'm going to have to act on it. No, no, no. We're just gathering information. We're just exploring what's here, and our soul whispering to us is a huge part of ourselves that we can then gain information and then choose to act or not. So if you grew up in a controlling relationship, in a controlling family life, or you were never, your essence was never mirrored back to you, then you know, your chances are you're not going to be very confident. You're not going to have great self-esteem. The chances are that you're going to refuse to express your feelings or what, you know, your fears are, because of the worry of what's going to happen, the consequences. You know, there's going to be a sense of obligation that you'll do things out of duty, and we put up then with mean behaviour without actually naming it. That's not the only reason, but it's one of the reasons that's been highly investigated. And if this is you, if you find it hard to talk about your feelings with the person that you're with, you know, your partner, your relationship, if you find it hard, there's nothing wrong with you, nothing whatsoever. It's just that this part of you hasn't been welcomed, hasn't been explored and actually, you know, wanted to be here. So again, the first thing is to affirm your truth. This is the way you're feeling. This is what's coming up inside you, to affirm it to yourself, to a trusted friend, just to have it received and recognised. And then the second part of this is that you then have a choice. You have an alternative, and feel the, oh, okay, you know, I'm not in this double bind where I can't, like, I'm feeling really unhappy but I can't do anything about it. There's a choice. You are unhappy and you can do something about it. It doesn't have to be right now, but it's naming it, it's putting it on the table, it's sharing it with another friend, and then seeking support. So maybe, in a group, support outside, seeking support in which you can explore this more, so that when you're acting with your fear, you're living with your fear. It's not, you haven't divided it, you haven't separated. It's well and truly here. You are acting with your fear. So, okay, I can trust my intuition, and sometimes I don't. So there's no division. You can use it to instruct you, and sometimes you don't, and that's the truth of it, and that's how it is. Can you feel the difference between that and I can hear my intuition, I know what I need to do, but I'm too scared? It's a very lost place, and there's no choices there. And remember, the choice doesn't have to be separating from whatever it is that you're worried, scared, or whatever, abandonment, rejection, betrayal, whatever it is. You don't have to take action. We can just sit with it. Let's explore this, what's here now. So I'm not talking about perfection, because that's not inclusive. That's, my way or no way. This is about allowing all of ourselves to be here, particularly that part that whispers to us, or not, shouts at us sometimes. So just allow these words to percolate into you. Take a breath, give space, no judgment, no right or wrong, just a naming of what's here now. Just a being present with what's here now. And for those of you who've turned up live, I would love to hear any comments. Marcel, Teresa, Caroline, welcome. Thank you for taking this time to turn up and listen. I'm just trying to think of any questions that some of you might have around this. I really want to reiterate again that there's nothing wrong with you. We've all been there where we've heard ourselves say something and then we've ignored it. We haven't had the courage, I don't know if that's the right word, we haven't, the fear has been too huge and has stopped us, has blocked us, and that's okay. It's information. It's really welcome, actually, really welcome. So I'd love to hear any questions if you've got any. And I'm trying to think of other scenarios. So Twiglet, my 13-year-old miniature Dachshund, this Sunday hurt his back, and all day I was trusting my intuition and then not trusting my intuition and then not trusting. It was a very roller coaster day, and the more I trusted it, the calmer we both became. It was interesting, and as soon as I panicked, I felt out of control and I was overwhelmed. And then as soon as I came back in and was asking myself, and back in that what's here now, let's allow it, we both calmed down. He's rested, his back's fine, miniature Dachshunds, it's a 13 years old, we're really lucky. He's fine, he's okay. We didn't do anything drastic, we stayed with it, and So Carolyn, yes, not wanting to speak out. And that's a basic human need and right, to speak out and say, actually there's something wrong here, it doesn't suit me. I want to name this because it doesn't suit me. And if we've had that in the past and it's not been received well, then we sure as hell not going to do it again, are we? We're going to keep ourselves safe and not expose that part. Yeah, Teresa. So Teresa's saying, I came from a very physical and verbal abusive home, and now in my adult life I have no confidence in myself. I always feel worthless most days. And that's really, I just want to say, Teresa, that's really, really brave of you to share this. Really, really brave of you. And that abusive home has had knock-on effects. And there are ways, there are choices that you can make now to empower you and come from worthless to actually feeling that you have a choice, so that you know there's alternatives, that this dark cloud, this anxiety, which actually, by the way, is being, we're all feeling this underlying anxiety right now in these times. So it's just feeding, can you see, it's just feeding this whole thing. We can step back. Okay, what's here now? What's present? What do I need to put on the table? And just to allow space. Or, yeah. Caroline lost her mum. Yeah. This sharing is so important, and thank you again, Carolyn, for being so brave as to share. The more we women share and do everything that I'm not excluding men, I'm not against men, I love, I have a partner, I love him very much. And I feel that we as women, we need to come together and share and assist each other, and just, will you see my passion, come from a place of, I have a right to take space up here. I have a basic need, and to come from that place, yes, we need to heal. And that is my mission, is to help support women to heal their past and, yeah, the way that we feel about ourselves. So if you would like support with that, I'd love to have a free call. Please, in the comments, put intuition, type intuition or yes please, or whatever you'd like to have. I've got a few dates that we can have a call, and we can see, what is it. Let's put your fear on the table. If you trust, if that's what you want to do, or if you just want to have a general chat, let's share. Let's see if we can heal from these woundings. Yeah. So Teresa also lost her mum, and then beloved husband. So wow, deep respect. So yeah. Is there anything else that you would like to share? Please do so now, so that this can be on this table here, and it can start healing. I know, I know from the bottom of my heart, the bottom of my soul, that you can listen to your intuition and live and thrive from that place. We just need support, that's all. Support with whatever we decide the choice will be. Big hugs too. Thank you so much for joining me. I don't feel so nervous now, so it's working doing these lives. I'm actually enjoying them. Thank you so much for turning up. Much, much love and new moon blessings.